thing. No, I ain't. No, I ain't. No work, work, work. No, no, ain't gonna work. No way. No way. No way. No way. No. 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 Ain't gonna work. No, I ain't. I ain't gonna do a dag burn thing. Let them do it. Let the girl tell the man. Ah, man, the man, baby, dad understand. Whoa, I ain't gonna work no way. No, no, ain't gonna do a back burn thing. No, I ain't. No, I ain't. No, I ain't. Ain't gonna do a dag burn thing. No, I ain't. No, I ain't. No, I ain't gonna work no way.
Welcome to the graduation ceremonies for that very talented class of 1995. "35 years ago in June, the old Newton High School had its final graduation because a few months after that, in September of 1960, Newton South was born. During those 35 years, the school has consistently well-served this community and its students. It has stood for high standards of achievement, the love and satisfaction of learning, the education of the whole person, mind, body, heart, and spirit, and respect for others, our differences and our commonalities. Tonight we gather to honor this class of 1995 who've made such an outstanding record here at Newton South. As I stand here, I speak with thanks to this community, thanks to its elected officials, the school committee, the Board of Aldermen, the school and city administrators and parents for the support that you continue to give to Newton South High School. I'd now like to introduce our platform guests and before we get on with the program. A note, parents, be sure that you know that we have excellent photographer here from Chapel Studio who will be getting a good picture of your son or daughter as they receive their diploma from the housemaster, and they'll make those available in the coming weeks. We also have the Newton Cable here, and they will have videos available, and they'll be shown later on Newton Cable. First of all, I'd like to introduce from the Newton School Committee, Richard Alford from Ward 4. Rodney Barker from Ward 6. Pat Davidson from Ward 8. And Dottie Engler, who will be retiring at the end of her term from Ward 2. Dottie. And from Ward 5, and also Newton South High School class of 64, Susie Heyman. And from Ward 7, Vern Vance. Board of Aldermen, Robert Antonellis from Ward 2. Richard Bullwinkle from Ward 3. Alan Saccone from Ward 2. From Ward 5, Newton South High School class of 67, Paul Coletti. From Ward 1, Robert Gerst. From Ward 7, Lyle Baker. From Ward 1, Anthony Lupo. From Ward 7, George Mansfield. From Ward 3, Anthony Salvucci. From Ward 5, Christine Samuelson. From Ward 7, Sidra Schnipper. And from Ward 5, a member of the class of Newton South High School class of 67, Brian Yates. From the school administration, Associate Superintendent for Administration and Secondary Education, Janet Goldrick. The Director of Human Resources, Ray Shurtleff. The Director of Metco, Wanda Speed Franklin. The Coordinator of Secondary Services for Special Ed, Valerie Arty. And another person special to this school system who will be retiring, who's had a job that is one that's taken tremendous energy and talents, and he's done so much for special education over his years here in Newton. Assistant Superintendent for Pupil Personnel Services and Special Education, Phil Reddy. Our special friends of Newton South, our former colleague and housemaster Cutler House, a member of that class of 1960 at Newton High School, the principal of Brown Middle School, Judy Malone Neville. Our former director, Metco, and a special friend of the Newton schools, Lily Jefferson. Our very supportive, active PTSA president, but more important on this day of days, father of Stacy Sanchez, Dennis Sanchez. I'd like to say something about our faculty. I consider myself fortunate to be a member of the faculty of Newton South High School. I always tell people I'm a principal and a teacher, and I am proud of being associated with the faculty, and I want to thank you for the great job you do and all the support you give to the students of this school. I want to especially say that we have a member who is retiring, who's been a good colleague of those at Newton South for 35 years, who's been in the Newton school system for 37 years. Nat Merrill came to Newton High School in 1958 and spent 2 years there, and was a member of the founding faculty at Newton South in 1960. He's been a superb teacher of mathematics. He's been our resident expert in computers, been an assistant housemaster of Wheeler House, and since 1985, he's been our administrative assistant. Luckily, Nat will be a consultant to us one day a week as we try to tame that Mac school beast that we've been trying to work on, and will be our expert in computer. But Nat, congratulations on a great career. Bringing greetings from the city is the Honorable Thomas Concannon, Mayor. Tom?
Thank you. I want to congratulate the faculty and the parents for the wonderful job they did in preparing tonight's graduates. On behalf of the city, I would like to say how proud we are of the academic accomplishments and all the rest of the accomplishments of these students. I'm also very proud that this city, by virtue of its parents and the faculty, have taught a system of inclusion to our students. They've taught that diversity is a strength and not a weakness. and on behalf of the city, I hope they bring these values into society that richly needs it. Thank you very much.
Bringing greetings from the Newton School Committee is the chairperson, Ann Larner.
Parents and friends, staff, members of the class of 1995. Words are hands, hands that reach out to other hands. Thus wrote Patricia Smith in her column in the Boston Globe last week. We get our strength from words, words that reach out, she went on to say. On occasions like tonight, words are attempts to let those of you who are graduating know how much we as a community care for each of you, how proud we are of you. We also use words, traditional words, to mock graduation as a rite of passage, welcoming you to the adult community. To find the words that are not trite or hackneyed, words that actually talk to you, is not easy. The school committee wants to shower you with words of good wishes, dress you with confidence, and send you off with trumpets and song. We want to celebrate your talents, exalt your spirit, and craft new words that will affirm you. We want you to actually hear and feel our good wishes for you. We want you to own the confidence that we have in you. We want you to walk out of here trusting in yourselves and in your talents. As a community, this is our last opportunity to hear from you, to snatch a word or two of yours to store in our pockets so that we can hold on to a bit of you. Words, yours and ours, are not just hands, they're threads that bind this community. They connect us, each of us, to here, to now, to the past, to the future. They make us a whole. Many of you in this graduating class are facile with words. You have an ease with words that I admire. I know that because I've heard you. I've listened to you talk. For several years now, I've sat at the school committee table twice a month with one of you, Sarah Nadiri, who has been a thoughtful, articulate, and regular contributor to our school committee discussions. On a number of occasions, and most recently just several weeks ago at Myrtle Baptist Church, I heard the words and songs of those of you who come from Boston each day to Newton South. Your voices are rich, your words are strong. I've read your words in the Denebola and the Lion's Roar. You speak many languages. I've listened to the sweetness of your choir. I've experienced the power of your acting. The strength, the support, and respect you show on the playing field is really palpable. Your spirit is contagious. Your words are filled with life, with soul, with compassion, with thoughtfulness. They reach out to your friends and classmates, and they touch us in the larger community. Your words have touched us in 100 ways, members of this class, and we treasure them. They bind you to this community. From the time you were in kindergarten through this year, we, the adults, have showered you with words. Words of advice, words of admonition, words of concern, and words of love. The words themselves are quickly forgotten, but I hope you can and always will be able to draw on the reservoir of support and love and caring this school committee and this community sent with those words. I know that we will draw on the strength and hope that you have given us through your words.
program here. Bringing greetings from the Newton Board of Aldermen is the President of the Board of Aldermen, who will also be retiring after this term and after many, many years of service on the Board of Aldermen. She has another elected position on the Governor's Council, taken up a great deal of time. But bringing greetings is Cindy Cream.
Speaking of words, the word retirement evokes an image in my mind that I'm not sure I enjoy. Good evening, students, faculty, and friends of the class of 1995. Tonight is a very special night for all of you. It's a special night for me as well. I am a parent who 2 children of mine graduated Newton South, so it's meaningful for me to sit on the podium. And although I, to quote the principal, am retiring, I hope to be invited back again and again because it is very meaningful to be here this evening. Your success as a graduate of Newton South High School is a further step in a never-ending process we call educational growth. You are never too old to benefit from the process of your educational development. The skills that you have developed and the knowledge you have assimilated over the past 4 years only serve as a springboard for your future development. Oftentimes, we change our goals and our attitudes and our professional paths as we grow and mature. Pursue your studies. Don't stop here this evening. Remember, however, that what you learn in school is only part of your education. Much of one's educational growth occurs after school is over. To enrich that growth requires us to integrate our experiences and involvements with those around us. You've done that in these past 4 years. We hope you'll be doing that in the future. Take your interest into the community and become a productive person. You need to interact with the world, and I would be remiss if I did not ask you to consider, perhaps, some form of community service, whether that is a full-time experience or a part-time volunteer. I believe it is an enriching experience to give something back to your community. You have the tools to be the leaders of the future, whether you volunteer for a social service agency, become active in your educational institution, or perhaps even run for public office. It is important to combine one's own personal goals with a public awareness. Virginia Gildersleeve, the founder and former dean of Barnard College and one of the founders of UNESCO, believed that the ability to think straight, some knowledge of the past, some vision of the future, some urge to fit that service into the well-being of the community, those are the most vital things that education must try and provide to you. As you receive your high school diploma this evening, look towards today and tonight as a plateau on a long, rewarding, and winding road to a never-ending zest for learning and higher education. We are all proud of you, and we wish you the very best of luck in the future. Thank you.
Bringing greetings from the school department is a man with strong convictions and a strong commitment to high-quality education for all students. Erwin Blummer.
Thank you, Van. Good evening, parents, friends, relatives, most importantly, members of the class of 1995. In past years that I have had the honor to speak to students about the future, it has always been relatively easy to find examples of people and groups working to improve life, liberty, and happiness for all of humanity. This year, it seems to be different. This year, we have seen bombings in Oklahoma fed by super zealots, cutbacks in federal funding which will affect poor women, poor children, and our elderly, proposed sales of nuclear capability to Iran, Serbs, Croats, Muslims killing and mangling each other, with all of us watching, genocide continuing in parts of Africa, AIDS continuing to wound and kill us from within. And yet, we must continue to look for the hopeful signs, the good work, the promising ideas. We must look for the people who will give to others each day, today and tomorrow. Your parents, your teachers, your community have given each of you precious gifts of love, knowledge, experience, and all of the sophisticated skills you will need to improve your own lives and the lives of others. You have had a difficult year this year. It was not of your own making. Yet you have come together and have made the best of it. In doing so, you have demonstrated the leadership and the understanding that we as a nation need to grow and succeed. We look to you to give to others today and tomorrow. You remain our best hope for the future. We know that you will not let us down. On behalf of the Newton School Committee, the school staff, and the Newton and Boston communities, I congratulate each member of the class of 1995 for successfully completing an important milestone. And I pass to each of you the most important responsibility of adulthood. Be a blessing to mankind.
The combined choirs of Newton South High School invite senior choir musicians to join them. These seniors have chosen the music for graduation 1995. That Lonesome Road was written and performed by James Taylor, a Massachusetts composer. The second selection is a setting of Psalm 23 by a living English composer, John Rutter, and was performed by our seniors in England during their music tour in 1993. The Newton South High School Combined Choirs. like the president of the class of 1995, Yoni Binus, and the class advisor, Joan Bryant, to please come up.
All right, I know I was only supposed to come up here to give the class gift, but how often do I get to speak to this many people at one time? So I decided to make a short statement for this special class. It's been a crazy year. The teachers were caught up for a long time with their contract problems. The juniors won the Powder Puff. We weren't able to have a senior show this year, and the winter was pretty weak, pretty warm. Spring came a little late. But as I said, it's been a crazy year. Besides all these external factors, we all had numerous internal factors which made this year difficult as well. Whether anyone will admit it or not, the knowledge that we were all going to graduate and go off in different directions, lingering over us everywhere we went, and during everything any of us did this year. It's not an easy thing, and it's by no means anything that we should look at lightly. We all knew that we were going to be separated from our friends, and we were all aware that we would be leaving our homes and our families, and for many of us, this is the first major change of our lives, and I guess what I'm saying is mainly to the parents here. It's true that we live in Newton, and we all go to a good school, and we live in nice houses, we sleep in our warm beds, but that doesn't mean that our lives don't get complicated and that we don't feel the pain of having to leave all that we have known to this day. What I'm trying to say is that it's important that you, the parents, try to understand your sons and daughters, try to be as proud of them as you possibly can, try to let them go, and show them that you love them, because I assure you, even if things may seem differently, they will miss you and they'll love you, and all they need right now is a little bit of understanding. Thank you. This is the secret blue box. Okay, actually, I'm gonna leave it down. Okay. We're all set. Let's go. Before I begin with the presentation of the class gift, I'd like to acknowledge a few very important classmates of mine whose dedication to this class got us through the year on our feet. I'd like to ask Cheryl Burke to come up here, please. She's the vice president of the class. I'd like to thank Meg Moore, Jason Gluskin. You guys can stand up if you want. Jamar Green and Jay Chung. These are the class officers. All right, sit down. All right. For a number of reasons, I was unable to uphold the leadership which my classmates chose me to provide. Those 5 people took the reins when I couldn't be there and made it possible for our class to move on throughout the year. Let's please give the class officers another round of applause. Thank you. All right, now moving on to the class gift. We actually have a couple class gifts. The first gift, big blue box. This is for Dr. Seychelles, who truly worked hard to make our senior year as normal as possible under abnormal conditions. Next year, the school is going to begin its renovations, and Dr. Seychelles' office will be moved quite a distance from where it is now. So we may have some difficulty getting from place to place on time. So although we know he has 3 pairs just like them at home, we would like to give him this brand new set of high-tech, top-of-the-line rollerblades. Thank you for your support. As our second gift, which we don't have right here, we'd like to show our appreciation to the school for all it has provided for the class with some wonderful, useful, and I might add, very expensive new bleachers for the lacrosse and soccer field. It was the least we could do with our hearts and the most we could do with our money. Thank you for listening, and congratulations to my classmates.
Thank you, Yoni, and I also want to be sure we all know what a job Joan Bryant did stepping in this year and doing that job. I may have to ask the class of 1996 for crutches as I take some spills on these, but I appreciate the thought. Our tradition here, after some stock speeches by politicians and would-be politicians who would like to come in at the turn, and a very unfortunate thing by a TV personality, was to have the heart of our presentations here by our classmates. So we have 3 very, very talented musicians as well as an address. So we'll start off with Robert Jost on the French horn and Kiana Saxon on the piano with Reveries. Both of these are very talented musicians. Robert with the horn, he's also a very, very fine jazz musician. Kiana is a pianist and a very fine vocalist with our various vocal groups. who did the auditions for the address tell me they never remember as many fine speeches that were given and what a difficult job they had because there were so many excellent speeches that were part of the participation. But in at the end, it was decided that the address would be given by that good member of the class of 1995, Markella Zanni.
When I was 6, my grandma took me to a carnival. With a vendor, she traded a few coins for a helium balloon, red and shiny, which she tied to my wrist, whispering, "Take care of this until the man blows his horn." "What happens then?" I asked, already admiring the width of my new face in the curved plastic. "Everyone lets go of their balloons at the same time," she said, and watches them float into the sky. I spent the rest of the carnival hiding from my grandma, tying the red ribbon in double knots and scotch taping it to my wrist. When the horn blew and my balloon flew with the rest into the fire-stained sky, I cried while the crowd oohed and awed. Cried for hours afterward till I got hot and thirsty. The strangest things will make you cry when you're a kid. Whenever my grandma comes to visit now, she says, "When did you get so old?" But it's not really a question. A question you can answer crisply. When? "Oh, I got old on Thursday, February 12th. But you don't really notice getting old. It's like breathing. You don't notice till a change strikes you, like a football in the gut, all at once. Maybe you were at a party like me when it happened to you, and you looked around and saw that the shoulders of the boy you used to punch at recess have broadened out, that the baby smooth face of the boy you kissed in junior high is now peppered with dark, prickly hair. It sets you thinking, gathering together the scraps of reminiscences and molding them into something tangible, permanent, something you can look back on 20 years from now when the images start to get fuzzy. Here today, I'm to try and pull together the scraps, paint a picture of what growing up was like. Just a few minutes to turn a blank slate to a full landscape, like Bob Ross, the PBS painter. Let's put some sun over here, I can say, and remind you of the time you laughed till you got the hiccups. And how about a few clouds over there, I can say, bringing up the day your parents told you they were getting a divorce. But you know that your landscape, your growing up, is probably other than mine. Maybe sunnier, maybe cloudier, maybe neither, just that the shadows fall in different spots. Nothing is merely one thing. I read that in a book once. It makes sense if you think about it. Even if you disregard my canvas and stare straight at your own, squint at it, pulling it close to and far from your face like a 3D hologram, it's still hard to make out what was real. Because one day you'd wake up, sing in the shower, and slap five with your friends in the hall. Why? Because you loved them and they all loved you back. The very next day, you'd wake up and someone would edge you out of a circle of conversation. You'd get tired of the scenery of her back and slink into a corner seat in your homeroom, alone, all alone, because you hated every single one of them, and besides, they never cared about you anyway. And in both cases, you're looking back at the same people in the same hallway, just that sometimes the set is lit favorably in soft candlelight, and sometimes it's lit by the harsh, fluorescent bulb of a department store dressing room. How was the lighting on that first day of school, when we crammed onto the breezeway en masse, each struggling, straining, sweating to appear nonchalant? glancing up only to see if others were looking, and they weren't. Most of us sank into our roles, sank into that perfect spot on the sofa where we spent almost every weekend with one friend, a bag of Doritos, and the latest Blockbuster release. A couple rose to the challenge confidently, tackling the mysterious smoke-filled battlefield of parties and rides and crowds, returning, bruised or unscathed, either way with stories to tell. And so we plotted in impatient whispers with our sofa friend. We dreamed of what we were missing and rubbed our palms in anticipation. But the path from the sofa to the parties was twisted and winding. Robert Frost says we must first get lost to find ourselves. So that's what we did. We took a wrong turn when we broke set plans for more glittering ones, and another when we stepped on people or left them behind. When we finally made it to the parties, we wondered how we'd find our way back. I remember my first upperclassmen party. No matter that I knew practically no one and that I couldn't locate my older brother, at least I had made it off the sofa. At least I wasn't missing anything. I did miss a long beige phone cord, however, walked directly into it and wrenched the entire unit off the wall. The phone and I both crashed to the floor. A couple of weeks ago, I saw a freshman trip at a party. The same party where I first looked around and noticed we seemed old. It's not just the jutting muscles and facial hair that made it so. Maybe if there were a white painted line labeled adulthood in the grass, and we asked, "Mother, may I?" when we grew 2 inches in a summer, we'd be granted a baby step forward. But when we started to look out for and protect each other, that was a giant step. When we abandoned the wild assumptions and false presumptions of what we were missing, rejecting a party for a late night of hushed conversation with one close friend, that too was a giant step. When we admitted we were wrong, when we stepped out of the spotlight willingly for someone else who needed it more, when we finally figured out we had to love ourselves if anybody else was going to, those were all giant steps. And it's okay if not everybody's reached that white adult line yet, as long as it's getting closer. It's not easy to paint our picture because our growing up together wasn't made only of images and words, although that was part of it. Some of the sharpest memories are the silences. Sly silences of private jokes, shy silences after a kiss, peaceful 70-degree day silences, riding in the car beneath the salmon-colored sun with your best friend. You could have said something, but you didn't need to. An understanding passed between you, strong and invisible, like a current. And there were silences you'd like to forget, but can't. The silence when you broke up because it wasn't worth the ache. The silence when your friend told you his mom had breast cancer. The silence when it came over the PA that a classmate, our classmate, had taken his own life. And you wonder what common denominator lets you add up all these instants to something simpler, something you can swallow, like the steak your mom used to cut up for you. Then you look around you right now and see you felt each of these silences, savored them or grieved them, with somebody sitting next to you, or near you, or a couple of rows away. And you start to see, although the lines of paint here are blurred and less distinct, that the person who may have hurt you, knocked you off the swing in 2nd grade, or whispered behind your back in 7th, may also be the person who helped you off the ground when you let in the winning goal. For nothing is merely one thing. Scientists say the dust we breathe is largely made of dead skin cells. Poets say a smudge of who we are rubs off on everyone with whom we come in contact. I like to combine the two, to think that everything we say or have ever said is inhaled and exhaled by those around us, like giant gulps of cigarette smoke. Then somewhere deep in our chests, our lungs maybe, our hearts, fragments of those we love cling. I like to fancy the worthy fragments most resilient, most enduring. Maybe now would be a good time to cough up what our parents and teachers told us, what we ignored and denied, but knew and kept. Because somewhere inside your chest, you know you should slow down, like a Country Time lemonade commercial, and enjoy the everyday, the present. You know what it feels like to catch a summer flu, to lie in bed feverish, and promise yourself if you'd only get better, you'd never waste another chance to go to the beach, to lie flat on your back in the ocean water, arms outstretched, letting the cool waves lap you and lull you. And no matter how much you curse Newton South and insist you can't wait to get away from everyone and go to college or start work, somewhere inside your chest, you know how much you'd like to spend this last summer with the people around you today. If you say the opposite of everything you feel, it's just so it'll be a little easier for you to leave. Before I came here today, my mom helped me pin this cap to my head. Everyone complains about it, but I kind of like the cap, especially the tassels. If I were still a kid, I might take the cap off and run my fingers through the tassels, or braid them. Maybe you don't ever lose being a kid. You hold on to that too, wrapped up inside you, alongside all the pure particles of everyone else. My mother didn't need to tell me that at the end of the ceremony, I'd have to take my cap off. I knew without asking why, that when someone said so, we'd all, every single member of the class of '95, let go at the same time. I wonder how I'll feel when I have to let go. Maybe I'll relish the sweeping arc the cap makes in the sky, floating serenely, like my little red balloon. Or maybe I won't even be able to see it too clearly. The strangest things make you cry when you're a kid. Thanks. Before I go, I'd just like to thank the Newton South faculty, especially Joan Bryant, our class advisor, thank the Newton South parents, and wish good luck to the class of 1995.
Gabrielle Brunich will play for the last. Gabrielle. I wanted to check with the composer to make sure. I was about 99.9% sure, but this is an original composition by Gabrielle. Some Newton members of Phi Beta Kappa have provided a book award to be given to an outstanding member of the senior class for excellence in studies, genuine intellectual interest, and high moral character. Just a few minutes ago, those of you who didn't know her but found out she could speak beautifully. Now let me tell you a little bit more about her. Earlier this fall, she was a recipient of the Superintendent's Academic Excellence Award. She's a National Merit finalist. Last night, at awards night, she received a faculty award and membership in cum laude. She's been a peer leader. She's worked with the Harvard Model UN. Last night, she received a Theater Arts Award for her acting. She's been editor-in-chief of The Nebula, captain, and dual county league all-star in both soccer and lacrosse. She's multilingual. Greek is her native language. She's near fluent in French, and in the last 2 years has started that trip to becoming fluent in Spanish. She's a superb student, described by her teachers as absolutely brilliant. Teacher after teacher comment about her genuine interest in learning for learning's sake and for her probing mind. She's described as 100% prepared 100% of the time. She has an incredibly busy schedule, but she never gives others the impression that she neither has the time nor the interest in their concerns. She's always cheerful and ready to greet others with her warm smile. She is genuinely modest and humble and is cherished by the faculty and her classmates. Markella Zanni. The senior cups are presented at graduation to a young man and a young woman in the senior class for outstanding character, service, leadership, and scholarship. These students are elected by members of the senior class and the faculty. For the first time in the 35-year history of Newton South, we have 4 winners, 2 young men and 2 young women. So let's start off with the boys' senior cups. The recipient is a hard worker. He worked very hard and persevered and became an honor roll student. He has a learning disability that he mastered in his 4 years at Newton South to become what one of his teachers says was the heart of the class. He too has been a peer educator, and last year was part of the New England Association of Schools and Colleges reevaluation team. He's been a student assistant for a 9th grade homeroom. He's been the good captain of our hockey team and a DCL All-Star. Last night, he received a faculty award. Been sports editor of the yearbook. He's a thoughtful, caring individual with a good sense of humor, someone who is respected by all of us. Corey Levy. The other winner of the Boys Cup is someone who is a very, very active member of the class, president of South Stage. He's had many acting honors, most recently as Orlando in Shakespeare's As You Like It. He's a commended National Merit Scholar, Faculty Award winner, head Goodwin Marshall, captain of our cross-country team and 110% Booster Award winner, been a student assistant for the 9th grade homeroom, a member of the chorus. He too is, his second language is English, his first language is Hebrew. He's very interested in computers and taught himself a great deal about it at an early age. He's exuberant, he's sensitive, creative, and knowledgeable. He's been a positive member of a class. People say he's a real delight. As I know, because he was in my class this year, a real delight to have as a student, John Zanman. The Girls' Cup. The first recipient is a very fine student who earlier this year was named the Jewish War Veterans Brotherhood Award winner. She's been a faculty award winner. She is a class marshal. Last night she got the Goodwin House Good Citizens Award and the Home Economics Silver Award for her work as a big sister in our one-on-one program. She's been captain of both our indoor and outdoor track teams and a Booster Club 110% award winner. Been on the yearbook staff. She's a leader in our community service undertaking. She's worked in soup kitchens, been on hunger and AIDS walks, volunteered in a nursing home, and has worked on a Navajo reservation. She's worked with our life skills students. She's thoughtful, considerate, generous with herself and her time. Likable, caring, there's a gentleness, integrity, and passion for doing good work for its own sake, unrelated to grades. Rebecca Gould. Last but not least is that woman for all seasons, Markella Zani. At this time, I will turn the program over to the chairperson of the Newton School Committee, Ann Larner, who in turn will turn it over to the Housemasters for the awarding of the diplomas. Ann? Just say one at a time. Just say
I now turn the ceremony over to the Housemasters, Edward Jackson, Gina Healy, and Catherine Davio. If you come forward, please.
They have to come up. Yumiko Aoba. Carrie Baldessari. Sherry Paulette Balsam. Sean Joseph Barrett. Elizabeth O'Brien Beardsley. Anne Ben Simon. Christopher John Bender. Richard Berman. Eleanor Blumenfeld. Gabriel Brunich. Lindsay Ann Carroll. Meredith Ann Casey. Jaken Cheng. Jeffrey Considine. Scott Edwin Dahlmeyer. Michael Benjamin Dorschner. Melissa Erin Dunn. Deborah Joy Eldon. David Ettlinger. David Samuel Gannick. Emily Hannah Garbus. Nina Ursula Carmel Glucksman. Michael David Goldfarb. Zaria Goschalk. Meredith Ann Hatton. Sarah Elizabeth Lewis Heim. Joshua Herzig Marks. Justin Michael Hom. Yasumasa Imai. Melissa Marin Janiak. Vera K. Kandror. Larissa Ann Kantrovitz. Nishla Helen Kaiser. Andrew Michael Kopelman. Heather Jameson Lance. Selena Lau. Anne Lucy Lagurn. Andrea Ruth Levy Spironis. Annie Simone Lee. Robert Lee. Catherine Heidi Levitan. Jessica Paige Lightman. Paul A. Lauterbeck. Kang Lu. Kensa Matsumoto. John Zachary McGowan. James A. McMullen. Bridget Faith Miller. Melissa Beth Molta. Megan Colette Moore. Adriana Francisca Mufti. Jeffrey Alec Nisbet. Elizabeth Ann Nogrady. Glenn G. Ortiz, Jr. Christopher Charles Penny. Philip Mingdao Pian. Jonathan Eric Rosenthal. Joel David Rothman. Ilyana Alexandra Sapozhnikova. Sapozhnikovna. Wendy Jill Schreider. Eric Daniel Spencer. Allison Sudalter. Judith Tantush. Maiko Toriomi. Melody Zhang. Rebecca Tamar Vogel. Gabriel Max Walkman. Colin Christopher Walker. Ashley Lewis White. Aaron Shea White. Sherelle Nicole Wilson. Gigi Wong. Shiri Punina Yaniv.
Cheryl Heidi Burke. Paul Edward Bibbo. Jonathan Gabriel Binus. Joshua Israel Bloom. Jeffrey Adam Bodner. Sarah Borick. Jamie Elizabeth Bridges. Rachel Elizabeth Brill. Nicholas Eric Brown. Laurie Ann Chan. Benjamin Garrett Cuffo. Joseph Michael Curley. Sarah Diamond. Cherie Y. Denal. Derek Dushan Duncan. Armin Amami. Benjamin H. Feldman. Aaron Lynn Finkel. Adam George Friedman. David Feuder. Brian Wesley G. Sonia Geisberg. Jason Tabe Gluskin. Jessica Ann Golbus. Danielle Karen Gosselin. Rebecca Leah Gould. Phyllis Golda Grable. Nikki Hidayat Zadeh. Joseph W. Higgins. Jennifer Karen Keller. Jeremy Isaac Keller. Benjamin Budnoff Kelly. Caroline Marie Kelly. Seth Hugh Kennedy. Rachel Laurie Kern. Rachel Sidney Knight. Gary Kong. Jason Brian Korb. Misha Solomon Ho. Eric Joshua Kropp. April Joy Lerner. Robert Dan Lieberthal. Wei Wei Lu. Sarah Ann Macmillan. Gideon Shepard Mann. Alana Taryn Manouk. Melanie Joy Mermerstein. Jessica Lauren Moeller. Carissa Momtaz. Sandra Elena Mueller. Magdalena Luella Myers. Stacy Lee Phillips. Tashi Siobhan Piquet. Omri Parath. Kristen Becker-Prin. Catherine Joy Robbins. Catherine Rachel Ross. Abir Roy. Stacy Elizabeth Sanchez. Stacy Rebecca Sassoon. Kiana Serene Saxon. Gita Christie Setabuti. Natalie A. Shafee. Hong Shui. Renee Patrice Smith. Michael Harry Ross Stanley. Sharon Adele Stanley. Jordan Strauss. Virginia Rosalind Talbot. Sahar Susi Talibi. Karen Tam. Jessica Ann Touretts. Charla Risa Watkin. Jeffrey Glick Wild. Ethan Frederick White. Russell Kang Yi. Jonathan Moshe Zanman. Markella V. Zanni. David Andrew Zimmerman.
Margot Louise Albeck. Matthew Joseph Altman. Amanda Blomberg Fara. Michelle Elizabeth Broderick. Candice Lee Burstein. J.T. Chung. Jason Robert Chin. Lisa Beth Clayman. Shari Melissa Clayman. Robert David Coburn. Nicole Monet Desmond. Jessica Lee Ficken. David Landau Fine. Sharona Finkelstein. Jeffrey Adam Fish. Rachel Suzanne Forbush. Danielle Lara Franco. Michael David Freed. Dorrigan Ryan Freed. Allison Joan Glussman. Stephanie Lieb Gould. Jamar Jovan Green. Jamel Jevez Green. Allison K. Grossman. Matan Gutait. Ariel Lauren Hansen. William Altia Harper. Audrey Margaret Hong. Nushan Izadi. Robert Nathan Jost. Ilya Kaminsky. Mark Gregory Kaplan. Adam Roth Kachubis. Isaac Kriegman. William Mankwang Lee. Kristen Carnes Liebensberger. Caroline Lauren Lerner. Yanan Lerner. Corey Todd Levy. Jessica Randy Levy. Hillary Stacy Mackler. Lisa Ann Manzoli. Shah Mohamud Mohammed. Kevin Michael Morrison. Ariadne Robin Mueller. Andrew Mitchell Muncy. Sarah Naderi. Jessica Marie Natali. Natasha Genia Neese. Eric Christian Osterberg. Allison Justine Peller. Darren Keith Platt. Taylor G. Powers. Daniel S. Price. Romy Edith Rabitsky. Lisa Aiden Rindler. Adam David Peter Rothschild. Sasha Safar. Paul Santucci. Dorit Schatz. Samara Nissan Shapiro. Michael Lawrence Shields. Leon Schwarzbrem. Christian Silva. Dawn Marie Simon. Stephanie Elizabeth Small. Jason Robert Solowski. Benjamin Seth Sprecher. Vivek Vikas Sukatmi. Timothy Patrick Swope. Tommy Maddox Upshaw. Gail Marie Weiss. Alexander Salat Wigder. And finally, Banny Xingqi Wang.
To make this official now is graduates of Newton South High School. At this signal, you're supposed to move your tassel from the right side to the left side to make it official. Hey! Congratulations, the class of 1995.
If it happens in the schools, if it happens at City Hall, if it happens anywhere in the Garden City, it's on Newton News. New TV 13 brings you a comprehensive newscast for and about Newton every week.
You ever wondered why certain streets in Newton have sidewalks and others don't?
This expansion of Alumni Stadium has residents up in arms.
People with local insight and knowledge. John Frasica.
The difference between Newton News and other newscasts is that we are truly local.